Hi folks, welcome to Stories with Sheila. Again, this show is about solutions, it's about stories, so feel free to submit any problems or issues you have and any feel-good stories. So today's solutions is about help with anxious thoughts, folks. And what we're going to be doing is we're going to be sharing a Manage Your Thoughts Daily Tracker video. So folks, Joe is going to very kindly take you into a video that I've already done which talks you through about managing your thoughts, because especially during this time with all this uncertainty, we need to pull back our thoughts, pull back that anxiety and put things into perspective. I hope you find it helpful, folks. Okay folks, so managing our thoughts, it's so important at this time. So what I've done, folks, is that I have developed what's known as a daily thoughts tracker, and I have currently put this on my website. So my website is mymanagementforyou.com, and when you go onto the home page on the right hand side, you can download a free copy of Managing Your Thoughts Daily Tracker, and I'm going to go through with you how this can help you. So for example, okay, so you've got your Manage Your Thoughts Daily Tracker and you have days and situations. So something might have happened, you might have watched a lot of the news, and this might be spiraling your thoughts out of control, and one of your thoughts might be, I won't be able to cope. So we'll just use that as an example. So let's imagine that a negative thought is, I won't be able to cope. And then the question asks from, how do I feel from 1 to 10? So again, you're scaling this. So you're thinking about this negative thought, you're thinking about, just kind of exploring this thought. And then first of all, you're becoming aware of how this thought is impacting on you. So you ask yourself, how do I feel from 1 to 10, fearing the worst? And you might think, wow, if I'm thinking I won't be able to cope, I might be thinking 8 or 9, really not coping. Then you can ask yourself different questions. Now, some of these questions may be useful for you. Feel free to change them and to alter them, to put in questions that are relevant for you and your thoughts at that time. So if we're looking at, I won't be able to cope, this next question asks, am I blaming myself for things that are out of my control? Well, yeah, because a lot of this situation is out of our control. Is there any evidence to suggest that my negative thought is not true now? Well, actually, that would encourage you to think about, were there other times in your life when you felt that you weren't able to cope? And actually, did you manage to find a way through? Did you get through it? And there'll be a lot of, situations and experiences just to remind yourself that actually you have coped in other situations. Will this thought matter in 5 years' time? I mean, like other things that we've had, swine flu and other sort of viruses, things like that, that hopefully in 5 years' time that this will be under control, and that, we'll be worried about some other stuff going on. So I suppose when we look back in this in 5 years ahead, hopefully that thought of, I won't be able to cope, well, will it matter? No, because obviously you've coped. So sometimes when we can think ahead, it can again just create that lovely, perspective, and just kind of remind us that life will go on, that this is a temporary situation. If the negative thought is true, what can I do about it? So this is thinking, okay, so if let's say that you imagine I won't be able to cope, and let's say you really believe that this is true, and you ask yourself, okay, what can I do about it? Well, what you can do is you can talk to a friend about your thoughts, about your worries, about your concerns. You can talk to a professional like myself or other counsellors and work through exactly what's behind I won't be able to cope, to break that down. What is that exactly, so it doesn't feel so overwhelming, and it puts you in a position where, yeah, okay, when I break this down, actually, if I take this step by step. Folks, I have to laugh because my cat is trying to come in to my office cabin. I'll just ignore her for the moment and keep going, but she is quite persistent. Okay, then this question, folks, as a counsellor, this is something I come across so many times. Am I being too hard on myself? Yeah, absolutely. And if so, why? That we're all in this together, folks. There's a lot of this that is out of our control. We've never been in a situation like this before, so we're learning how to cope as we go along. Well, okay, if my friend or someone I loved had this thought, what would I tell them? So this again is offering you to look at this situation differently. So to imagine your friend was saying, you know what, I don't think I'll be able to cope. Think about what you'd be highlighting to them. And that's what this is about. It's about putting things into perspective and just learning how to reassure yourself, folks. Then it asks, what can I choose to think now that puts my negative thought into perspective? So you might decide, do you know what, I'll deal with it as it comes. And then it says here to read through your answers a few times, and in rethinking your negative thought, how do I feel from 1 to 10? So again, you're scaling it. And like everything, folks, it's practice with this, is that the more you kind of challenge that thought, so rather just believing that thought is fact, a lot of times it's an opinion, and actually sometimes we kind of don't give ourselves enough credit. So, and again, this is all about practice, folks, so it is about kind of going through it and just practicing this, and especially if you're the sort of person where the glass is always half empty, that it is about practice and just challenging those thoughts. The other thing that I would say as well is that with this, and obviously having been through depression, that for some people you'll be able to apply this and be able to reframe your thoughts. But for those of you that are going through a depression, sometimes it's almost impossible to apply this because the depression can be too full on. And as well as that, sometimes behind depression we have what's known as self-sabotage going on, so it may feel just too difficult for something like this to work, and that's okay, that's where you're at. And that's why I would recommend then, speaking to a counsellor, voluntary counsellors, private counsellors like myself, just kind of to get that help with the deep-rooted stuff, so that kind of gets you in a position where you can apply stuff like this and reframe your thinking. Okay, folks, to get the hair out of my face. Get out of my face here! Ah! I've been attacked by my hair. Maybe I need my old daily tracker to deal with that thought. Anyway, I hope you found that useful, and of course, you know what time it is. Okay, so yes it is, folks, it is time for saying of the week or useful piece of advice. Thank you as always for submitting your sayings of advice. Which one is this? Oh, I did that one before. Okay, right, no wonder that stood out. Okay, no worries, we'll go with this one. This one is meant to be Amy Flower. What a lovely name, isn't that a lovely name, Amy Flower? I like to live in the now, which not only makes a lot of philosophical sense, but is also a quote from Wayne's World. I love that, Amy, that's fantastic. I like, and she says, to live in the now, which not only makes a lot of philosophical sense, try saying that fast over and over again, I dare you, but is also a quote from Wayne's World. Wayne's World just makes me want to do some headbanging. Is that just me, folks, or do you find that as well? Okay, folks, so I know the daily tracker's taking up a lot of time, so let's just finish off with a nursery rhyme. You know me, I love my nursery rhymes. I hope nobody finds offence to this, but I'll share this with you anyway. Mary had a little lamb. It ran into a pylon. 10,000 folds went up its arse and turned its wool to nylon. Okay, folks, I hope you find the fun in different ways this week and just enjoy being in the now, folks, and whatever will be, will be. Let's just check ourselves, and as long as we're alive, sure feck it, let's go off and enjoy our day. Okay, thanks for watching as always, folks. See ya.